So here's a second video, and I want you to see me do what I just did you watched me from a distance, and I want you to see what I'm seeing from my point of view. And this might help you if you have any misunderstanding about measuring angles or proportions. This might actually help. So come on over and get out. I'm going to move very quickly here. Here's my point of view. I've had to step back a little bit from what we were looking at. If I look at the box, it is roughly square. So I'm going to want to place it somewhere like this. This is going to be a lot rougher than the demo, even though the demo was rough. Now, one other thing to notice, if it's square, this center line here is a little bit more to the left. So I'm going to want it somewhere about here, just like last time. Now, here's another interesting thing to notice. I'm looking directly in the center of my vision at this, what we used as the basic unit here, and it's completely plumb. You can see these aren't. But if I look with my eye, things are a little blurrier over here. Our locus of vision is so small that as I turn my head and look at this one, it's plumb. But if I turn my head and look at this one, it's plumb. If I don't turn my head, it's not plumb. Lines are converging this way, as with a photo. But if I look directly at it, it's plumb. If I look at the corner of the garage, in the center of my locus of vision, it's plumb. Or the door jamb over there, it's plumb. Now, of course, it's not. At the corner of the periphery of my vision, it isn't. You can see that with the camera because you're directing your eyes from here to here. But for me, if I'm looking here, everything here is blurry and I don't perceive this tilt. I mean, this is how really, when we're measuring angles or proportions, we are looking at a default two-point perspective. Once we've studied two-point perspective, come back and look at this video again and you'll see what I mean. It's one reason that two-point perspective is so interesting. So, moving on, we looked at this point here as being the bottom. This is the lowest point. I'm going to make it about here. I looked this point back up here is going to be somewhere up here. So there's that. Let's measure this angle. Now let's see if I can do this. With holding the camera, I come across and there's that angle there. I come across and there's that angle there. I'm looking through the camera, not at my board. So does that look about right? Possibly. Now, in terms of the distance between here and here is more than the distance from here to here. So I think if I put this corner of the box there, about here, I'll have room to see the top of the box. I think that'll do. So now I'm going to measure the angles here. Now I measure the angles here. Whew. I think that's more or less right. And now I measure I'm going to see how wide the distance between here and here in proportion to the distance from here to here. So I put the tip of my stylus there and I move the thumb to there and I turn it around and it comes to about there. So the distance between there to there is somewhere around like that. Okay, now how many of these fit in here? My goodness, they're about the same. Can't be, surely. No, it's a little bit more. Not much though. It's a little bit more. Okay, and now we take from the point here and here and measure angles this way. So I'll do this one first. Oh, shoot. I'm trying to look through the... It's hard to draw through the... One. And... Oh, I should show you over here. And then back to there. Okay, so there's a box drawn in perspective. There's a little line here on the top of the two folding lids of the box. There it is, more or less drawn in perspective. You can draw that. You can draw a house. You can draw a car, because you can draw the car within a box. You can draw anything that you could contain in a box that you can put in perspective. Measuring those angles and proportions, there's absolutely no reason why you can't draw something observationally in perspective correctly, if you just take the time to do that. Great, so that's a demo from my point of view.